welcome back to my channel where we're on a third attempt to record this video. Loki's here with me. For how long I don't know, because if he starts doing what he did last time and climbing all over me, he might have to get put on the floor, mightn't you? So anyway, today we are doing a slightly more in-depth review than I normally do, based on my friend Melly Playful doing some much better reviews than I've ever done. So I will leave a link to her channel down below. It's amazing, go watch. So we are going to be reviewing Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassadra Khaw? Khaw? I think that's how you say it. Anyway, it's a novella. I do wish I could have found this secondhand. Overall, I did enjoy this book. I want you to bear that in mind when I rip it apart, okay? Because I will, unfortunately. There are a couple of moments with the way that it's written, but we'll get into that in a moment. We're going to start off with the story. Now, I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but I'm going to give you a bit more information than the synopsis would tell you. Okay, so the idea is, this is the bride, okay? So, and there's a Heian mansion. So, many years ago, uncountable, it's one of those kind of like Himuro mansion tales where there was a bride and a groom, and the groom was coming to marry his new bride at his new, soon-to-be inherited home. Which again, is not how Heian marriage actually works, because men didn't inherit the women's property, the women kept it. But again, I'm going to see if I can find a channel which will actually give you proper information about that and put it down below, because there's a couple of channels on YouTube that I have found that have been amazing and detailed it out, and it's gorgeous and wonderful. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. The groom doesn't make it to the wedding. Either bandits get involved, or he just doesn't turn up, or we don't exactly know what happens, because there's three different like kind of versions that intertwine, like stories do in this case. And the bride says, well, I'm going to wait here forever for my husband to turn up, so you are going to bury me in the foundations alive, and I will wait here forever for him to return to my side. And they do just that, and she is buried in all of her wedding finery. But she doesn't quite become a yurei. She becomes a ghost, very much so, but she becomes a hungry ghost. She's not vengeful, she's just hungry. She just wants the wedding, kind of thing. So the family start sacrificing other brides to her, and every year on the wedding day, or the approaching wedding day, they dress up another bride in bridal finery and bury her alive in the foundations. So this Haitian mansion is built on the bodies of brides. Now, the family eventually falls out of favour, whatever, and loses the mansion. And this mansion is beautiful, it's big, but it's not there anymore. Not there anymore. No, the mansion's there, the family's not with the mansion, so the mansion has fallen into disrepair and disrepute. Enter our 5 protagonists. We have Philip, the token white guy of the group. I will say this about this book, all of them are either POC characters or BIPOC characters, which is absolutely amazing. I loved it. You have Kat, the main character. You have Fiaz, the groom, Talia, the bride, and Lim, the comedic relief, which is hilarious in and of itself, because literally Kat, as they first go into the mansion, is like, we're setting this up for a horror film. Now, Philip, as I said, is the token white guy. He is white, he is very, very rich, and he's a priest. He also had a thing with the bride, Talia, and still kind of has a thing for Talia. So, and he is the instigator for this whole incident, because he wants to give Fiaz and Talia the best wedding possible. Now, they're obviously going to have their big wedding later on that's going to be official. But he, the group of 5, always used to go ghost hunting. So he found this mansion, and because he's a priest, he is going to officiate the marriage within the mansion, as a wedding gift. A weird wedding gift. Cool, but a bit weird. So that's Peter. Did I say Peter? Is it Peter? Is it Paul? Oh no. Philip, It's Philip. Jesus, God, I'm terrible with names, so I apologise about that. Then there is, of course, the bride, Talia. As I said, has a thing for Peter while also having a thing for Fiaz. Obviously, she's marrying him. But she's pretty, she's beautiful, she's kind of on the rich side of things, and she's snobby as fuck. I detest Talia. I hate her so much. And it's, I don't like Talia. And then we've got Fiaz. Fiaz is sweet, he's kind, he's gentle, he's dumb as fuck. He is as thick as two short planks, and he absolutely adores Talia, head over heels, and that is to a fault. And you see that in the book, and it's beautiful madness. I love that man. I mean, it's a very short book, so you don't actually get to spend much time with them, but Fiaz is adorable, but also very misguided, because his best friend is Kat. And Kat, trigger warning, I should have said this at the beginning of the video, has just survived an attempt. I'm going to leave it at that. Kind of like the Fatal Frame that we've been playing, Maiden of Blackwater, that pretty much centers solely around that. She survived an attempt. None of her friends were really there, and she ended up in hospital for a long time. And Fiaz feels awful about this, so has invited her along as a way of trying to get her to reintegrate back into the group, become friends again, all that kind of thing. Misguided, beautiful asshole. Works. But yeah, Kat is our main character, and she's still suffering from depression quite badly, and she's still relearning how to do things, and it's beautifully written in her recovery story. So that side of things is very good. Very good. And then finally we have Lim, which, as I said, he is literally the comedic relief and kind of breaks the fourth wall an awful lot. He is written like he knows he's in a horror story, and he wants to let everyone else know that he's in a horror story. So yeah, they go into this mansion, and they have this wedding, and they have a celebration, and Talia finds the bride's wedding dress and puts it on. What ensues is hijinks. Very horrible, twisted hijinks. It ends in death, as most things do, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. You know, it's a ghost story, someone's going to die. 9 times out of 10, someone dies in these kind of stories. So I'm not going to tell you why or how. It was very well written, except certain points. So some of the things that go on when talking about the cat and her illness are very blasé, and I do wonder if the author, I mean, she probably does understand it, because everyone goes through that kind of thing at some point in their life, it seems, understands the way that she was writing it and how blasé that it comes across, and how it's really difficult to describe. Let me see if I can find you a passage. Yeah. So, a long year spent making acquaintances with the demons inside you. Each day, a fresh new covenant. It does things to you, or more specifically, it undoes things inside you. You have to barter for the bravery to go outside, pick up the phone, spend 10 minutes assured in the upward trajectory of your recovery. That is, the appointments are enough, that you can be enough, that one day this will be enough to make things okay again. All those things change you. I mean, that's beautifully written, but then you get further into the book, and she just comes across as being, like, it's very strange. There is a lot of, like, detailed descriptions that use words that aren't commonly used, which I'm fine with. Despite the fact that I am actually heavily dyslexic, I've spent many years of my life trying to overcome that hurdle and getting training and all that kind of thing. So I have quite a wide vocabulary, and I kind of understand most things like fugue and verbosity and viscosity, which is, again, those two words, but some people might really struggle, and there's quite a few of those words in the first couple of pages, and they don't fit with like the rest of the tone of the ghost story that she's telling, which kind of really confused me and bugged me. And there are points in the story where there's a lot of action happening and there's no description, but then suddenly, at the end of that high point of it's kind of doing a crescendo, and you want there to be like a climax. But really, you want there to be a climax, but there isn't, because she just dives headfirst into all this descriptive wordage that she could have kind of sprinkled throughout the action to just flesh the action out a little bit, but also like just make it make a bit more sense. And it kind of bugs me that that is the way that the writing had to go. The thing is, it spends I think roughly about this much of the book doing setup, that much of the book doing like resolution, so that's a tiny sliver, and then like a couple of pages for resolution. I think this would have been so much better if it was a bigger book. Like, she could have done more. And it's a very compact story, and she did do very well with it. I do actually like this book, as I said at the beginning of the video. I do actually like this book, but I do think that there are some major flaws in the writing that could have been fixed. And I think that I get what she was going for, that Kat is a very intelligent woman who is really struggling with life, but she forgets that most people who are in that state aren't looking for the big grand words of how to describe things, because they're currently just looking for the words to describe things. None of this like big grand, it's like dropping a coin into the ocean and you can't figure out how deep it is. Again, I'm using personal experience, but when I was suffering with depression and I sat there next to my therapist, I was going, or opposite my therapist, I was like, I don't know what to say. It's like I'm drowning. You don't go into the depths of it. You can describe it later as being all like deep and dark, but she's very clearly still going through it. I know she says, "Oh, I'm cured. I'm on recovery." Right, I needed to cut that bit out. But halfway through the book, she's still considering following through with what she attempted at the beginning of the book. So I just think there needed to be a bit more kind of, I don't know, it could have been written slightly different, and that would have made it even better. It's good. It's really, really good. Also, yeah, my favourite part is both Kat and Lim are very self-aware in this. So Kat knows that she's the token Kat knows that she's the token other woman that, you know, isn't the main character in the story, so she's probably going to die. And Lim is like, I'm the comedic relief. It's either going to be you or me that dies first. And that is so hilarious, because the two of them are literally going around after Fiaz and Philip and being like, we're all going to die, and I can tell you how we're going to die, and it's all going to go horribly wrong. And yeah, it's really, really good. I do enjoy this. I did enjoy this. Oh, look at him sleeping. I did enjoy this an awful lot. It is a really brilliant book. I just think there's a couple of issues with the writing that could have been fixed. But if you're looking for a nice, spoopy, scary, quick read, because I did read this in like 3 days on my lunch break, then this would be really, really good for you. Especially if you like Japanese style horror stories. Also with some mix of like Thailand and Korean, because I believe Fiaz is Korean, Japanese descent. Again, that's just the impression I got, because there's a couple of points where he talks about Korean folklore instead of just the Japanese folklore, so that's interesting. It's very. I know it's something that typically wouldn't happen due to their history, but you know, good book overall. I've ranted for an awful long time. I thought this was only going to be about 5-10 minutes. It ended up being nearly 15. Oh god, without editing, obviously. So thank you so much for watching. I forgot, I better do I better do the daily tarot draw, because of course I should. Balance, moderation. Today's card is Temperance. It speaks of balance, moderation, temperance, and purpose. Obviously, temperance is the same word. Whoops. It basically means that you need to look at what you need to do today, make sure you get it done, but also leave yourself some time to relax and reflect on what you've done. So, yeah, it's a pretty important card, this one. You had your self-care day yesterday. Today, it's time to look at what you need to do for the rest of the week. That's actually pretty good, right? Saturdays, you relax and have fun. Sundays, you get yourself ready for the rest of the week. I think it's done pretty well this time. So, thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow, where hopefully we are going to actually have a Hellblade video. Because I should be going Hellblade. But I haven't done that this week because things happened. So, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care and goodbye.